Hey, this is the Queen of Extreme, Francine, and you are listening to the Interactive Interview.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to the Wrestling Epicenter on the Blaze, 1260 a.m. I'm Brendan Brooks with, as always, James Walsh and
yes, indeed,
Ben Benya in the penalty box.
Howdy.
Oh, I call it the DJ booth, actually, but since it's, Olympic time in hockey, you gotta call it the penalty box. So despite the fact that USA lost today, I'm over it because, well, we don't really do well in hockey, actually. Tonight we'll have Kamala, and we'll be discussing Raw, and of course, Francine should be calling in any day now.
Oh, I've got her right here, Francine.
Really?
Are you with us?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
How you doing?
Better. Still getting over the flu. Yeah. I opted to go. My birthday was Sunday.
Oh, really?
And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I was really sick last week. It started to get a little better, and then I went out drinking Saturday night into Sunday, and got sick all over again.
Francine? My birthday was Sunday as well, so...
Was it really?
Yeah, the 19th.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, I did the whole 21 thing, and I don't remember what happened that night. I've got photos.
I did the whole 21 thing, too, even though I was 34, but, yeah, it was fun, and I had a really good time, but I should have never went out because I was still too sick to even leave the house, but, got on antibiotics this week, and I'm feeling a little better.
You're crackling a lot. Is there anything we can do about that, Ben?
From right now, it's her connection that's crackling, actually.
Oh, okay.
But I have all my bars.
That's weird. I don't know. You're crackling a lot. I mean, you sound all right, but I'm just gonna go with it, roll with it. I'm getting pointed at again. You know what happens when that happens.
Brendan, try again. Try James' mic.
Oh, that would be the fact. The symbol that he just gave me was my microphone is dead. So that's real good. Anyway, we're having a little bit of technical problems. We'll fix those in just a second. So, Francine, got to ask you this first question, and it's a little bit personal, not towards you, but towards Shane Douglas. We've heard a lot about the ECW one-night stand happening. It's actually confirmed as of today. And I'm not going to ask you that again because, first of all, I know that you haven't been contacted, and I highly doubt, even if you had been, that you would tell us. So,
you're smart.
Yes. So the question I have is, given that Shane Douglas is in his situation, is he going to run another Hardcore Homecoming show?
You know what? It's weird you mentioned this because I had no idea what Shane was going through. I didn't hear anything about him, and then on Monday night, I was doing my chat over at the pay site, and one of my members had mentioned something about what they read online about Shane, and I said, well, where did you read this? I didn't hear of anything.
Right, it really wasn't reported very well. I didn't even have it on my site until I went to TNA's website, and TNA had a blurb up there for a couple days, and it's been taken down too, but they mentioned
well, what
it on
did that
TNA
say? Can you fill me in? Because I don't know I don't know if I have the right story or...
From what I gather, he was put away in... his wife actually told him that he should go into rehab because he started taking pain medication because he was thinking about getting back into the ring.
I see.
That's what they said. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but that's what it said on that one website, which I'm relatively sure was TNA's website.
Okay. As far as I know, I don't know if that's 100% true. I did try to call Shane today, and his voicemail was full, so I ended up sending him a text message. Right. The last time I actually spoke to him was, I think, after the holidays. And then we played phone tag with each other. So, given the information I had, I just wanted to call him to see how he was feeling. I don't know if he were to be 100% honest with me either. I just think he's okay and he's healthy, and if it is true, I hope he kicks it and comes back because he is a talented performer, and he's a big part of TNA wrestling. So I'm not 100% sure that that's the true story because, as you all know, stuff gets fabricated over the internet. But that's the gist of what I know. I did try to get a hold of him, but I can't reach him. So.
Brandon, are you with us?
Oh, I'm with you guys.
Oh, okay, good. Your microphone is fixed.
Yeah, a little technical difficulties there.
Not my fault for once. I didn't do it.
Let's blame it on God. Or Jim Dove, as I like to call
No,
him.
you can't blame it on God.
Well, Jim
It's
Dove
not God's fault.
is the engineer, so we kind of nickname him God.
Oh, okay, well then, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, blame it on
Blame
Jim.
it on him.
Let me ask you this question. I saw on OneWrestling.com that the November Rain DVD has been released. November Rain being, first of all, a great song, and second of all, the Hardcore Homecoming show.
Yeah.
Is this the one where you had the accident?
In quotation marks, the accident?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Did that get edited?
No.
Oh, wow. So they should.
It shouldn't have. I had tape over me.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't even know that it was a Janet Jackson pre-planned one.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I thought it was a complete
An oops.
shoot. Yeah. Oops, as they say.
Well, it might have been an oops, but I had tape over me. Let's put it that way.
All right. Well, now that we got our microphones fixed, do you want to take the next subject here, Brendan?
Are we on the One Night in China video?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord, this ought to be.
What happened with this?
First of all, let me remind you, we are on radio. Last week was perhaps our most X-rated show of all time, and we've been warned by the station because of it. We flew off the handle, plus an interview we had was just totally off the chain with Tylene Buck. So
We only aired about 3 minutes of that before we had to cut it off.
We aired 2 minutes of
2
it,
minutes,
thank
wow.
you.
It was only 2 minutes, and then Ben just threw down the hammer and was like, no more. And
yeah, she gets into quite grave detail. We put it up on the web.
I think it was like 58 minutes long, and I heard like maybe half an hour of it. I was like, man, my mom would definitely frown upon this.
How much did that have to do with wrestling?
Maybe about 3 minutes of it.
Very,
Oh,
very
God.
little. The 2 minutes we aired was the
Okie
wrestling.
dokie.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we kind of asked for it, I guess.
I said this in the review of it when I posted it online. I said, I've stood on the phone with Hulk Hogan talking to me, not been shook. I've stood on the phone with Ric Flair yelling at me to bash Bret the Hitman Hart, not been shook. I've had New Jack threaten to kill me, not been shook. That interview, I was stunned into silence.
Why? Because you were embarrassed at the content, or?
I was embarrassed of the content, plus she was playful, shall we say?
Flirtatious, if we will.
Open.
Yes. Open.
Incredibly open about everything she does.
Yuck, yuck, yuck.
Awesome.
Yes. Well, getting back to the point, we also spoke to Missy Hyatt last week, as you said we should a couple weeks ago. And she's going to be part of the Weekend Warriors crew. Patrick Kelly was very excited to hear that. But she gave us a little bit of information about our Christian little friend here, our Catholic friend Francine. Supposedly, you brought over a copy of
Yes.
One Night in China?
Yes.
Is
A
this...
fan sent it to me to you.
Okay.
I did not purchase it myself.
Oh, okay. I'm not trying to pick on you. Don't get defensive. I'm
You
just...
don't have to pick on me. It's okay.
She could defend herself, trust me. We've all
Francine.
seen it before.
Exactly.
Let me ask you real quick.
Yes.
Just out of interest, I mean, I enjoy your expertise, but why would a fan send you a copy of... I would send you a copy of Starship Troopers before I would send you a copy of
That's a
that.
really good movie, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Because listen, I'm eclectic. I like everything. And one night we were talking about pornography, and somebody brought up the X-Pac and China video, and that they had seen it. And I said, it's wrestling related. I said, whoever it is, I want to see it. And they said, well, I'll send you a copy. And I said, okay, fine. And they sent me a copy, and I watched it. And then I told Missy, I said, you have to see this video, not just for the X-Pac China thing, because that was pretty basic to me, but there's extras on this DVD, and it was one of the most repulsive. I'm not going to sit here and never say I've never watched porno, because that's not the case.
No, of course not.
Nobody,
Exactly.
anybody
I
who
think
says
everybody...
that is lying.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody has watched porn at least once, and if they say they never did, that they're lying to you, apparently.
Right, absolutely.
But anyway, I thought it would be funny to just watch it and do commentary or whatever. But on the one specific porn that's on, and I don't know if any of you guys have seen the China X-Pac thing, but there's extras.
Nope. It's not on my list. Sorry.
Okay, well the one,
I've seen it, but I'm not proud of it.
well, I tell the story on the website in one of the videos. It is the most disgusting, vile pornography I have ever witnessed in my life.
This is
And
with China, or is this an addition?
No. This is an extra.
Okay.
This is one. There's like when you watch it, it'll say DVD extras, and there'll be I think there's like 4 different ones that you can view. And in watching it, I really almost got sick because I don't know how guys. I mean, everybody has their fetish.
Being very careful of the fact that we have FCC.
I can't even describe it. You'll get kicked off the air. It's
Well, now you have.
This isn't satellite, but still.
You know, and I
think we got
felt bad for the girls because, like, you know, most of these, like, I'm not going to say I never watch porn because I do. Okay, I think everybody does. I would never get into porn. I think it's not my cup of tea. Let's put it that way.
Right.
This one girl that was in it. I mean, most porn women are gorgeous creatures to look at.
Right.
The men, not so much. I've seen a couple that are good looking. But the women are genuinely attractive. This one girl was the cutest little blonde. And I'm saying to myself, you know, she probably could have did modeling work or print work or something with her life. Instead, she goes and does this. I can't even.
Are we talking fecal matter or something of that nature?
Watch it, James.
No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. No, it's not fecal matter, but it has to do with. I don't even know if I can say. Can I say anal sex?
You just did.
But
are you allowed not to? Is it bad? I don't know.
I think we get the idea, though.
We're getting close to the line.
We get the idea.
But with 8 men.
Stop.
You can stop now.
Wait, 8 men and a spoon. Yeah.
A spoon?
A spoon.
Why not an X?
No question.
Stop it. Stop.
Sorry, no one gets the movie line.
So just get your mind wandering and thinking. And,
Nope.
Yeah, it was disgusting. But no, I did not buy the tape on my own. I just anything that has any wrestling to do with it, I have to look at it.
Right. Okay, well, let me ask you this one question, and then we'll let you off for the week. Did you happen to catch Raw last night?
No. I'm sorry.
All right, then, well, before we let you go, could you just give one quick plug for the website?
www.MissyHyatt@FranceTV.com.
What's going on this week?
Me covered in Hershey syrup.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw those pictures, and I was pretty surprised by
Most
it.
uncomfortable
Did you
thing
lose
I've
a
ever
bet?
done.
Did you lose a bet?
No, but I figured it was time to step up my game. I'm not going to pose nude. I've said that a million times, but I wanted to do something that would keep everybody happy. So
What has the reaction been on the website?
It's overwhelming. It's been really, really good and positive, and I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I'm trying to think of new ways to keep all my members happy. So.
And before we go to break and let you off the air, I just want to say that I've actually checked the suggestion box of what people would like you to do.
Yes.
And I am a relatively wild
I know
guy.
what you're going to say.
But even I'm a little bit disturbed by some of the things that they say.
I tell everybody, look, leave your comments on the board. I take each and every one into consideration, but it doesn't mean that I'll do it.
Right.
But I do read everybody. Yeah, I think so too, because I mean, there's stuff that I won't do, and people know that. But I'm not going to get mad for somebody asking me.
Right.
You know, you can ask me whatever you want. I don't have to answer, and I don't have to do it. But I'm open-minded. So.
Right. As Gene Okerlund might say, a little decorum, please, on that board. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, and check out the website. It's www.MissyHyatt and check out Missy Hyatt this weekend on Weekend Warriors of Wrestling, and we'll be back right after this with more of the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hi, this is Jim Cornette. You're listening to The Blaze, 1260 AM.
Let's go right into Raw right now.
And how appropriate was that song? That's a great segue there, Ben, whatever. I'm surrounded by people's names who sound far too much alike, and I keep stumbling over them. Ben,
Stuttering
good
Sam.
choice of music.
Good choice of music, Ben. You get 2 points there. But as of course, Marty Jannetty.
Yes, Marty Jannetty.
You know, congratulations for just even coming back.
Right, and a member of our Wrestling Epicenter family on the website. He's already been on there. He's already been dropping a lot of spoilers on what's going to be happening, so be sure to check out the forums at WrestlingEpicenter.com. But I got to tell you, I can't be more happy to see Marty back there, knowing his life story, having sat down and talked to this guy on the level. I can tell you that he's genuinely a good person, a good guy, and anybody who talks to him on the forums, you can tell that he's, first of all, he's like Dennis the Menace. You can't leave him alone for 5 minutes without him coming up with some kind of a goofy scheme. His newest scheme is that he plays his own cat on the forums and says the most vile and offensive things to all the girls there. And yes, he has a little cat phrase, but it's not quite that. It's
Exactly.
SHEEEE.
All right, we've got a caller. It's a familiar voice. It's Chris. Chris, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Brendan.
See, even you messed up the name too. I mean,
Try doing this every week. We got Ben Benya and Brendan Brooks. But when you try to pitch it to one, you start saying Bren.
you know, together we're like beat the fourth power.
Yes, I keep trying to say that, yeah.
How about I just say Bren and
power.
Bren?
It's beat the fourth power.
Chris, how you doing tonight,
Be
man?
cubed.
Man, I am doing great. My cable cut out, but hey, I'm perfectly happy right now.
All right, I understand you want to talk about Marty Jannetty. Let me just say one more time, in case you haven't heard it,
He's back.
keep it clean. Keep it clean. And, of course,
completely
come out
understand.
swinging when the bell rings. What do you got to say? Marty Jannetty, big stuff.
Oh man, I was so happy to see him on TV that it's just, it's hard to put into words. I mean, he still looks great.
He does
He
look
does,
so-
yeah.
Yeah, he looks like $1 million in that ring, and you know, he didn't stop moving 1 second in that match or in that segment.
No, he didn't, and I was surprised because it looked to me, if you were watching closely, like Shawn Michaels was actually thrown off by the fact that he was bouncing around as much as he was. Like when he was just punching into the air for the crowd, Shawn Michaels like took a step back and was like, huh?
Well, you think about it, that's like what 15 years of just built up energy, and just like one day I'm gonna come back and make my strike at the world again.
Well,
he did big.
One year ago,
he's been back a few times. It's just I
don't think it's ever been that big before.
This is the best he's looked.
Yeah,
when
the
he
best
comes
he's looked.
back.
Yeah.
he came back 1 year ago, had 2 matches. He had a match with La Resistance, which is no longer in existence, and both of them, in my opinion, are going to get released before the end of the year. And 1 match with Kurt Angle, which was actually a really good match, and then he screwed up. So this is legitimately, potentially his last opportunity, and I think he knows it, and I think he's going to make the most of it. And we're talking about a 46-year-old guy here, but we're talking about a 46-year-old guy here that has a lot of lineage. You heard the crowd reaction when he came out. Once they figured out who it was, they were chanting Marty. I'm so thrilled for him. I couldn't be happier for this guy, and I wish him the absolute best of luck.
Yeah, I did too. The only problem was we were gonna have him for 3-count wrestling for my show every week, and well, we can't do that anymore. But you know, this is a good reason why
Yeah,
not.
this is a really good reason why
Well,
not.
the good news is for those of you listening on the website, he's going to stay on our forums, even if they tell him he can't, because he's going to be Mustafa Shady, his cat.
That cat is such a pleasure to deal with. I gotta say.
That cat, if he was really my cat, I'm actually thinking of going into the South Park sound library, easy for me to say, and pulling out some remarks.
Back Eddie.
Or even go to some local animal shelter and, you know, adopt a cat.
Rescue a cat.
Rescue
It makes you feel good.
It makes you feel good because you look at the cat, you're like, oh, it's a kitty. You can't get mad at a cat until it does some stuff to your house.
Until
but
it pees once and fills up the entire room with scent for the next 15 years.
yeah, that's what.
Or gets pregnant and you fill your house with nothing but cats.
Yeah. Then you'd be risk becoming the cat lady, though.
The cat lady's great. Stay away from the cat lady, okay? She can throw a cat over a house.
My brother is a cat lady. He adopted a cat, got pregnant twice, and now
It has like 50 of them now.
yeah,
How many has he tried to give you?
none. I won't take him.
Oh, good. Doesn't mean he hasn't tried, though.
Well, we live in the same house, so it's effectively I'm adopting it too.
Ah, I see how it goes. Well, what do we have on Raw? Well, let's talk about
Well,
the Raw.
hold on one sec. Chris, I got to thank you for joining us. We got a couple more callers, I believe, who want to get in there, though. Call back
problem,
later
man.
in the show if you'd like, and thanks for joining us.
And of course, that
All
was
right, I'll
Chris
talk to you
Ferguson.
guys later. All right, you have a good one.
Alrighty,
Thanks,
bye.
Chris.
That was Chris Ferguson, not the poker player, from 3-Count Wrestling over at WrestlingEpicenter.com. Check him out this week. They have the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, as their guest. I was able to be a part of that interview, so it'd be great for you guys to hear. Having conducted the interview, it's great, but let's get back down to Raw.
Here's my one complaint about Raw. Edge is no longer anything anymore. You know, he might as well just say quit and just go to TNA, because really, I think the company blew a chance to do something really, really good with them. Instead, he drops the belt like next week and then has to wrestle Hacksaw and Jim Duggan's. Nothing against Jim Duggan. He's hilarious. He's the
Duggan
man.
looked good.
Did look good.
This is a guy who 4 or 5 years ago sold his king's crown and robe and the TV title he found in a trash can, the actual belt. He sold them all on eBay. He looks damn good.
Well,
right
Hacksaw
now,
is
but
not struggling for money no more. He actually is a realtor in Florida, and from what I understand, he's making pretty good dinero.
Well, I guess real estate's good right now. I don't
Mucho
know.
dinero.
Mucho dinero for Mr. Jim Duggan. But back to Edge, it's just like when he did have the belt last month.
Edge, you're talking about.
Yeah, Edge. When
Yeah.
he did have the belt,
Uh-huh.
fans responded well. But then they just take it back, and it's just like, oh, great, John Cena again.
Well, the fact was ratings went up. And for some reason, when a heel gets over and gets larger ratings than Triple H, who I don't usually bash, pulls his one power card and uses it to squash the other guy. And that's the truth.
And that's basically what happened. Now he's wrestling Hacksaw Jim Duggan, which most likely he'll probably wrestle at WrestleMania.
He's
or
even Mick Foley.
He's Mick Foley? Oh,
yeah,
man. See,
another legend.
He's still another legend, but it's like, come on, man. He went from like... Mick Foley's most likely probably just going to job anyways.
Probably, which is good, because I'd be pretty angry if he'd lost to Mick Foley.
Or, Jim Duggan's a Kemet or something like that. But still, you just took Edge's fire away from him, something he might not ever get back again.
And he should. This is his time. This is the guy who the fans wanted to see hold the belt for a long time. I remember, who were we talking to? Billy Gunn, about 6 months ago. And he said that you're not going to see a boom in the near future because we got a boom of guys that were so talented in '98. And one of the guys he put in there that surprised me was Edge.
Very nice of him.
Quite frankly, I didn't think of it like that until recently, and now I really do see him as a great talented guy. Ratings jumped up to a 4.5 the day after he held the belt. And you can look at the rating right after Royal Rumble, and it was no 4.5. They said still a solid rating. 3.7? No, not a solid rating.
Ben, what's on your mind?
We've got a live caller.
Oh, sweet.
First-time caller. Vernon, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Vernon, how's it going?
Vernon, Brendan, and
Going
Ben.
pretty good.
We get the
Crying out loud.
the trifecta here going on now.
All right.
We're going
What's
down
on
the
your
path.
mind, man? We're talking about Edge right now, not getting the push he deserved, maybe being misused. What do you got to say about it?
I definitely agree. I definitely agree that Edge lost the strap way too soon, and it's unfortunate. And he was bringing in some ratings, and they just took it off of him, and now Cena has the title back. So disappointing.
Well, the risk you run seeing is another strangely yet predictable WrestleMania where Triple H and John Cena face off, and most likely Triple H gets the belt.
We'll get to that match in just a few minutes.
You'll get to that in a minute, but that's what led up to it. And that's what disappoints me about it.
I've got just a hell of a rant.
Well, hold that rant down, Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
Down.
I definitely have to agree. I mean, after hearing that or seeing that Triple H is going to be in WrestleMania, it doesn't really seem worth the $34.95 shell out.
Oh, it's not.
It's actually more expensive for WrestleMania. I believe it's up to $50 now,
Ooh.
just for Mania because of the 4 hours and because
That's
it's WrestleMania and they're going to charge people that much.
In my mind, that's a cake.
It's a boxing
Miller High
fight
Life.
prize now.
But still,
And
keep going.
luckily, I go to a friend's house to watch that, so maybe I'll chip in, a couple bucks. Won't be as much.
Well, what do you think was the highlight besides Marty Jannetty? What was your opinion the highlight of Raw on Monday? Another bright spot on the Dolcro.
I know a lot of people might disagree, but I was happy to see Shelton Benjamin win the Intercontinental Championship. I thought Ric Flair didn't do much with the title. So.
He didn't do anything with the belt, and it was kind of one of those situations where they just gave it to the guy to say he held it because it's a title he never held before, which I was opposed to in the first place, but he should have lost it the next night. He's held it great. Since then, Carlito got buried. Shelton has been held away for a while there. He was on Heat jobbing to Rob Conway. So he's definitely on his way back up, which is where he belongs.
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, I even forgot Ric Flair was holding the belt, and whenever he came out on Monday night, he had his robe on. I didn't even think he was wearing the belt. I thought he lost it somewhere. So.
Well, Vernon, thank you for joining us. I'm going to have to cut you off now, but call us later in the show if you've got something else to say, and thanks for calling in.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No
All
problem.
right. Good night,
Once again, the number to call in is 480-965-1260.
Sweet.
All right, we did
And
a
now,
little thing there.
It's
like an answering machine message.
to kind of keep this going.
Right.
Triple H, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, the main event of the evening was a match between Triple H, The Big Show, and Rob Van Dam. And I know, just looking through the glass, that Ben is going to throw a temper tantrum when I get to this point. But here's the deal. Here is the deal on this match. If you are listening to the crowd, which is part of what I do when I watch wrestling, because in reality, work rate, which, by the way, if you go back and look at the definition of work rate, it does not mean how many moves you can do. It means how you work the crowd. Work rate, get it? That work rate was abysmal because the only time the crowd ever reacted during that match was when there was a pinfall happening and Triple H was nowhere to be seen. The crowd actually sounded like they let out a collective groan when Triple H won this match, and I don't think anybody cared when you saw the little face-off between John Cena and Triple H. And the only thought I had watching that was not, ooh, this is going to be a good WrestleMania main event. It was, ooh, Triple H has a big head.
Probably everyone else just thought they were big.
Now, as if one rant wasn't bad enough, my rant comes simply based upon one thing. I'm a mark for this kind of stuff. I was into it, I loved it, and to see what I saw last night was crap. Because Rob Van Dam has never and will never get his shot at the top, which is crap. I gotta be honest, Cena Van Dam, not as compelling. Well, not as big a draw, at least. It is more compelling, though, than Triple H and Cena. Triple H and Cena, obvious, expected. People knew it was going to happen. Rob Van Dam and Cena? Wow, there's an interesting thing. Who's going to play the heel? Who's going to play the face? Why don't we go back to when Rob Van Dam was headstrong about everything he did, and the fans, while respecting him, didn't really like him because the promos he cut were, I'm better than you, and I know it. Why do we do this? Why are we circling back around? And my other complaint about all of this, as if I'm not out of breath already, the biggest one that gets me is that RVD won his match. Poor booking to have a double disqualification leads to both men getting into the final match. And the reason it was poor booking, WrestleMania 4 tournament, double DQ for Andre and Hogan. We didn't see a triple threat match with DiBiase in it next.
No,
okay?
No.
And tournaments throughout history had this problem. Kama and Shawn Michaels go to a time limit draw. Yeah, I referenced King of the Ring 95. I should be shot. Whatever.
Hey, man, I love King of the Ring 95.
Terrible. King Mabel.
King Mabel, that was awesome, though.
Draws,
ECW.
double disqualifications mean both guys are out. They didn't win. They both lost. That's how it goes.
Do I have permission to go on another small rant?
No.
Please?
Because the only part of the match I actually liked was Big Show. He was the highlight of the match only because they made him look like he was unstoppable, and it took two men to bring him down. Not just two ordinary men, but RVD and Triple H. Only reason why that match was good because of the Big Show.
That's the first time in a long time they've referenced or used the big man part of the Big Show. And quite frankly, though,
they never do. It
doesn't work as much anymore, only because everybody and their brother has picked him up. The reason Andre was seen as such a giant is because only Hogan and later years only Warrior were able to lift him and slam him. Other than that, he never left his feet.
You know what the real tragedy
of
all of this is? Now that I've probably caused several brain hemorrhages in my head and a lot of damage. I've damaged my brain, I've brained my damage. They actually recorded pretty compelling promos.
Well,
for all of this.
I kind of got the flashback of the Triple H promo, the old Ultimate Warrior promo. I was waiting for him to do this. I can't do it because I don't have sinus problems right now, but that's still besides the point.
I would think that would help.
It would help, actually, but still. Anyways, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Up next, No Way Out rundown, and of course, Eddie Guerrero getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. He is confirmed. Right now, we're going to take a break right now. You're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter on the Blaze, 1260 AM.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Hi, I'm Brent.
We're even trading your used CDs and DVDs. So call 727-USE. That's 727-8733. Or visit hoodlummusic.com for more information.
Music makes me want to go to a casino. That is the Native American talking here on the Wrestling Epicenter on the Blaze, 1260 AM, and I've just offended half our audience.
I cannot believe I found that in great quality. I can't.
And I gotta tell you, how loud does that sound in your headphones, Brendan?
It sounded completely... Oh my god. Ears are bursting on that one. But Tatanka, he's back off the reservation and with Matt Hardy. As both him... Matt Hardy and Tatanka defeated Eminem to win... Not to win the tag team titles, there's a typo on your rundown, James. Boss!
Well, I thought they did win it. To be honest with you, I forgot that it was a non-title match.
Well, Ben, being the referee of all referees, reminded us that it was a non-title match. So
which is BS, in my opinion.
BS.
I hate non-title matches. If you're a champion and you're fighting, you should have the
Well,
title.
why do they have a non-title match at a pay-per-view? That doesn't make sense. That totally goes against basically the loss of wrestling right there. And before that, we had Gregory Helms retains the Cruiserweight title.
Right.
Ben's clapping. What's up, Ben?
Ben is clapping because he has another caller, and this one you'll recognize. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick. Patrick, are you with us?
I am here. What's up, guys?
How's it going, Patrick? ¿Cómo estás, señor?
What?
What's up? You don't speak
I'm doing good.
It's like,
No comprende.
no comprende, because he doesn't speak Spanish. Damn it.
I don't.
How's it going, man? Did you catch No Way Out?
Yes, I did. I think I'm the only person that liked it, too.
I wouldn't go that
Ben's
far.
left in the back right now.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do think that a lot of people that have reviewed it have said that the main event was the only thing worth their money.
I disagree with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what did you like about the show?
Personally, except for Eminem versus Matt Hardy and Tatanka, which was just a weird match. I
What was the
personally
crowd
enjoyed-
reaction like on that?
They didn't seem to be too into Tatanka.
Yeah.
They acted like they didn't know who he was.
Well,
You know why, though?
Probably because they don't.
yeah, they probably don't.
You know why, though? He's got to have that red streak up the side of his head.
He doesn't have the red streak. I haven't seen a photo of him yet.
Nope, he doesn't have the red streak anymore.
That's probably why then.
The red streak was abolished when he joined Ted DiBiase's $1 Million Corporation,
Right.
Evil.
which is not, in no way was that more offensive than his theme music in general.
Which, wow, you must see. You do have some Latino in you. I'm sorry, you can't say Spanish. I might be discriminating against other cultures, but still,
That's
I mean,
your own culture.
that's one culture of many. But the only match that I kind of see on here that might have been good besides the main event would be the JBL and Bobby Lashley, because I really have some high hopes for Bobby Lashley going on that one. But
That
Ben's
match
not.
surprised me at how
Ben
good
is
it
going to
was.
burst a blood vessel on this one.
I almost threw my
Ooh.
headphones through the glass.
You're going to F? You're going to F? Don't do that again.
Yeah, I almost threw my headphones through the glass. Now let me ask you, Patrick.
Okay.
You've got a guy, not an ounce of fat on him, Bobby Lashley. Not great on the mic, but you use him properly. He says all of 5 words in order to get a match with JBL.
Mm-hmm.
And I know JBL's been losing, but we're starting to come to expect this. We figure one guy's on his way up, one guy's on his way down. How does Lashley lose this match? Why? And why? Why, God, why? Do you then immediately instill fear that the Lashley-Finley rivalry is what this world has been waiting for? Can you justify any part of this match making sense?
I think the last time I saw Fit Finley was on that old N64 game, NWO Revenge.
Which is probably the best wrestling game ever.
Yes, but that's a different story. But Patrick, sorry for taking the focus off you. What's going on?
Okay. Personally, even though I did enjoy this match tremendously, I do disagree that JBL picked up the win here. I think that was a mistake. I think Lashley needs to be the Goldberg of this company, and having him go undefeated for a really long time would have been a better idea. But I don't think the feud with Finley is necessarily bad. As if it gives Lashley another win, then no problem. But he should have lost this match now.
I'm going to disagree, and this disagreement's going to anger Ben. I don't see...
Everything angers me.
Yes, it does. You are our... What's his name?
Mike Wilbon.
Mike Wilbon from PTL.
Yeah, I got to remember that.
Part of PTI.
Well,
it looks like
anyway.
an L from a different direction.
Yes. I've seen Bobby Lashley since he debuted. The first week I saw him, I thought this kid has got something special. But then when you think about it, who was he in the ring with his first week? Simon Dean. Simon Dean makes everybody look. After that, I've not yet seen him look good. I've not seen him look all that spectacular. The kid has a great look. He reminds me of that main enemy from Super Punch-Out. But he just does not seem that great to me. I'm sorry.
Watch the match with JBL. He looked really good in that match.
That's a good argument
The
there.
kid, though, you got to give him a little bit of credit. I mean, in the Rumble, for what he worked, I don't think he's been given the chance to look good, other than with Simon Dean, when he was given the chance to completely dominate a good wrestler.
I mean, they put him in the ring and they had him dominate Birch Hill and William Regal at the same time. I mean, how...
Look at what he did to Kane. How can you say he's not impressive when he's able to just do, a scoop slam?
He's strong.
Or the FU or the F5. The F5 is an impressive move, but what he did to Kane was he gave him a dominator. He held him on his back for 10, 15 seconds.
It's a heavy guy holding him.
Pretty impressive.
Here's what what they should do. Chris Benoit, Bobby Lashley. Why not bring up Bobby Lashley and have Chris Benoit kind of show him the ropes of how to do things properly in terms of wrestling in general?
Well, the thing was, though, if he's going to learn the ropes, he should have done that already. That's my problem with the guy. And everybody keeps referencing him versus Goldberg or him as Goldberg or their new version of Goldberg. The difference was when Goldberg debuted, The next day when you went to class, everybody at school was saying, well, yeah, the NWO thing was pretty cool, but did you see that new guy, Goldberg? What's his story? That's not happening with Lashley because, quite frankly, we know his story, and it's not that interesting.
Here's... I gotta give you that one. Here's what I liken it to. I don't think he's the next Goldberg. I don't think he's the next Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna give you a name, and I'm gonna give you a name and have backup to prove why this doesn't make sense, but in the long run it might be beneficial. Dave Bautista.
Ah.
Okay.
2000 and I'm gonna say 3, it might be 4. However, I do remember distinctly Randy Orton gets on his tear. It's 04. It's 04. No, it's 03. It is 03.
No, 3. He came in as Deacon Batista.
Randy Orton comes in, gets on the tear with Evolution in 03, in the middle of 03, and then in the summer of 03 has the feud with Shawn Michaels and beats him. And this is when Shawn Michaels was at that part in his career where you knew he was like Ric Flair. He's just putting all the next guys over. And every once in a while he'll win a match over a guy like Triple H. I mean, It's Triple H. Anyway. But then, September, Unforgiven, Batista and Shawn Michaels fight. And there was no chance in hell that Shawn Michaels wins that match since Batista was the next after Orton. And he does. Michaels wins the match clean. And it made no sense. But in the long run, Batista stepped aside, had a rivalry with Jericho, had a rivalry with the Mick Foley and the Rock stuff, and a year later,
Can I ask you a
Batista
question?
was on top.
How come every time Batista clotheslined Jericho, he knocked him out, but he clotheslined anybody else 1,000 times and it had no effect on him?
Mainly because
Overselling
Jericho's
a move?
one hard worker, and every time Batista fought Jericho, Batista was still pretty green, and therefore you would literally believe he'd kill somebody when he did it. I mean, I thought he killed Chris Jericho. I didn't like Batista when he first came in because he was too
I don't think
unsafe.
anybody did.
Yes.
He wasn't that
He
exactly.
was
I
barbaric.
hated him when he first came in, but now he's like one of my favorite guys in the WWE right now.
It's good. Just
And the
a different
surprising
look,
thing
that's
at
all
No
it
Way
is.
Out, the surprising thing about No Way Out, the best crowd reaction of the night was a filler segment involving Batista. He came out and said, I'm coming back soon. Well, great.
Bye, guys. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, woot, woot.
Yeah.
From the entire crowd.
What is Woot anyway? Somebody help me out with that.
I have no idea.
You know,
I've seen that a lot.
it's just a celebration, let's put it that way.
Last thing, we got 2 minutes before break, and I gotta get to this. Probably the most important thing that happened at No Way Out. And as if I haven't ranted enough tonight, Randy Orton beats Rey Mysterio to gain the world title shot. Now, cover your ears if you don't want to hear a spoiler.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler time.
alert!
Spoiler. Rey Mysterio will be granted his shot back by Theodore Long this Friday night on SmackDown, and it will be a 3-way for the title at WrestleMania. That
You may
being
uncover
said,
your ears now.
Okay.
that being said, you can
I heard
uncover your
nothing.
ears
I
now.
heard
Spoiler
nothing.
is done.
Yeah.
That being
Okay.
said, we have taken away just this year relevance of two of WWE's premier contests. Unlike a singles match that doesn't mean anything anymore because everyone can do that, only the WWE can do a Royal Rumble. And we took away the importance of that by having Mysterio lose the shot in the first place. And then, and not even in then, that was 3 weeks after we took away the importance of an Elimination Chamber match, the exclusive property of WWE,
Right.
when we had Edge beat Cena in 2 minutes, and all of a sudden that match
Well, it did
beforehand,
make
that
sense,
40-minute war in a cage, is done.
It did make sense having him be able to beat him, though, because he would not be a fresh wrestler after being in the ring for however long he was. He was in the ring, he was in one of the most barbaric matches, and Edge at least had an opportune time to come in and beat him relatively handily because he was already worn out.
I thought that was the best book title change I've seen in
The only problem
probably a
is
decade.
It was great in respect to the fact that they made importance of the Money in the Bank, that they're going to do it again. I'll give it that. I just don't understand taking away the value. You take away the value of the Elimination Chamber. I wasn't compelled to buy this year's because of the participants. I'm not going to be compelled to buy next year's if that's going to be the case again.
the only problem I had with Elimination Chamber matches or barbaric matches in and of themselves is these guys look legitimately dead at the end of half these matches, and the next night
Because they
come
are
out,
dead.
right? But the next night they come out and wrestle, and there's no sign of damage or anything.
That's the sign of the business, though, because there's like, okay, next match. But
Well, that's the difference from the past. The past used to be, you'd have a match, and if it was a barbaric match, you wouldn't be seen on TV for a couple weeks, and then you come back. But now everything's so fast, which is my complaint about the business. I've always said, it has to slow down. and nobody will listen to me when I say that because they're all afraid of ratings. Well, if he doesn't show up, if we don't have the champion defending the title every single week, the ratings will go down.
Does anybody remember Judgment Day 2004 when Eddie bled like a crazy person, or what? I can't think of a good analogy.
You get the right idea.
Yeah, he had blood all over his chest, which was just disgusting looking.
Yeah, and he wrestled the next SmackDown, which was 2 nights later.
Yep.
It's entertainment. Even though it's not really more of a sport. It used to be sports entertainment, now it's just entertainment, so maybe that's why they're taking away from the sports action of it.
We're going to have to go to break here, Patrick. I'm going to have to let you go, but if you want to call in later in the show, do so. Our lines are open.
Excellent. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much, man.
Thanks, Patrick.
Up next here on the Wrestling Epicenter, we're going to be joined by the one and only Ugandan Giant Kamala, and after that, we're going to discuss some more wrestling news. So keep it locked right here to the Blaze, 1260 AM.
Hey, what's up, my friends and neighbors? This is the Dr. Style Slick, and you're listening to the interactive interview. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Blaze 1260 AM as we are now being joined by the one and only Ugandan Giant Kamala. Kamala, how you doing?
I'm doing real good. How about yourself?
I'm doing really well as well. It's really a pleasure to have you on. It's been a long time coming.
Oh, thank you. We finally got together.
Yes, we did. Well, I guess the first bit of news that we should tackle when speaking with you is that you have a new action figure out, part of the Classic Superstar series.
Yeah, and I'll be in New York tomorrow, and I'll be at Saturday night, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be autographing it. I hadn't seen it myself yet, but get a chance to see it Saturday.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you get contacted to be chosen to be, I guess, immortalized in such a way?
Well, I have an agent. And I have an agent, and then a lot of different promoters call me about these things. Yeah.
What do you think of WWE doing a lot of these Legends figures? Actually, the recent stats that they just came out with said that a lot of the classic wrestling figures actually sell more than the young guys that are in the business today.
I didn't know that, but, it's good to hear that. But, I think it's great.
Well, you made a few appearances in the WWE in the past couple of years. How do you enjoy getting in front of the camera these days and ages?
Well, it's about the same as it was years ago when I've been in front of the camera for the past 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nothing new to me, but I enjoy doing it. I get some thrill out of it. So it's great.
Okay, now, you recently had a match on SmackDown against Randy Orton, where The Undertaker made the save. You were in the first coffin match with him. What did you think of the coffin match idea?
Well, really and truly, I am afraid of coffins. And, that was part acting, part not. I didn't want to go in that casket, but that was part of the show. I didn't want to go in it, but I did it anyway, and after I was in it, I felt pretty comfortable. But, working my way up to the casket match, I just didn't know how I was going to take it.
Very good. Now, you've become quite a fan favorite, if I may say so. I'm a personal fan of yours. How did you become? How did you go from being the Mississippi Mauler and Sugar Bear Harris to Kamala the Ugandan Giant?
Well, it's just like shopping. The Mississippi Mauler when I was the Mississippi Mauler, I was just, I wasn't too popular, and it just didn't seem like it clicked. And I left from there, and then I changed my name to the Ugandan Giant Kamala. But I used to live in Africa, and all while I was in Africa, it started brewing in me, and we ended up doing it.
Do the chants that you do when you're in the Kamala character, do those mean anything, or is that just random?
It's just random.
Oh, okay. How about these symbols, the paint on your face and stomach and chest? Are those symbolic of anything?
Not that I know of. It's just that when I was living in Africa, we went down in the valleys, as they call it, and I saw people with the paint and stuff on their face like that. So, what it meant, I don't know. But it's something that really caught my eye, and I was interested in it.
It'd be funny if it meant something really strange, like...
Yeah. I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's why I always laugh when I see a white guy walking around with a Chinese tattoo.
Yeah.
Because you know damn well he doesn't know what the hell that means.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Now, there are quite a few people who have recently borrowed the Kamala character and gimmick. There's one in ECW had a match where he basically imitated you, Joel Gertner. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it, and I never heard of it.
Yeah, he had the Lucky Charms symbol from the cereal.
Uh-huh.
And he painted that all over his body. And he did a pretty good impression, if I may say so.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I'm not mad at him. I say more power to him. I'm not that kind of person. If he can take it and make $1 million with it, I'm happy for him.
There's another guy who copied your gimmick. He just went by the name Uganda, as a matter of fact. You just don't have any problem with people borrowing quite vividly your gimmick?
No, I really don't. I mean, when they first started, just ignore that beat. But when they first started doing it, it was kind of bothered me a little bit. But I just let it go. I never said anything to him.
Well, tell us a little bit about what it was like to be a part of the WWF in the mid-'80s. I know you had a feud with Hulk Hogan, and a lot of people talk about those days being really revolutionary and seeing the changes from the WWF, which was a New York territory, to the national promotion that the WWF became.
Yeah, well, it was great being in the WWF, overall. I mean, I have said otherwise in the past, blowing off steam, I guess, but it was great to, being in one of the greatest organizations in the world, one of the well-known organizations in the world, and I can say that I've been there and I've been to the top. There, even though I wasn't compensated for it, but I can say that I've been to the top. And it's good, and it's just good for me to think that to know that I went to Madison Square Garden 2 or 3 times in a row with Hogan, and we sold it out each time. And back then, what makes me feel so good, it was just one main event, and that was Hogan and me. And, I mean, they sell it out now, but look how many main events they have.
Right.
So, I'm really proud of myself and, for doing that.
Did you feel like you should have been given a bigger paycheck?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Evidently Vince didn't, but, I definitely know I should have been paid better.
Did you have a system where you'd call them up and complain and they'd give a fall guy? Because we had J.J. Dillon, who at one time was Vince McMahon's right-hand man. Yeah. And he was pretty much telling us that whenever a wrestler got angry, he would be the fall guy because Vince would say that he's the reason that they didn't get more money.
I didn't know that because I called Vince direct.
Ah.
And yeah, I called Vince direct, and he's the one that signed the check, so that's who I called, and I asked him about it, and he said he thought I was getting paid well.
Okay. I suppose, yeah, I guess everybody has a different opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about this kimchi. There was a couple different versions of kimchi that I remember, as one of them seemed a little bit larger, and I think I know who that was, and then there was another one after that that seemed a little smaller. Who played both versions of the kimchi character?
The first one, the kimchi. Now, kimchi, the only somebody ever played kimchi was Steve Lombardi. Now, I had a Friday who was dressed the same way, looked identical, but that was Gene Stevens, so he's deceased now.
Oh.
And yeah, see, it was it was a Friday and a kimchi, and they both were dressed alike.
Does that
Friday was the first one.
Does that look with the helmet and everything, what does that symbolize, sir?
Well, it just made me look more junglist, African, wild, more of a savage by having a handler and a manager. And I don't think that's ever been done.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. And it worked real good. I just was it made me look uncontrollable. And back during the time, people really believed it.
Oh, absolutely. And I got to tell you the truth. When we were going to interview you, there was a couple of people who were like, "Does he speak English?" And my response was, I talked to him, and he actually has a bit of a southern accent, and everybody was blown away by that.
Yeah. That is true.
People believe the gimmick.
Yeah. That's
okay,
true.
Well, after years of being a bad guy, you had a little run with Reverend Slick when you tried to sophisticate your character. How did you enjoy that? Working with
I didn't. I really didn't. I mean, with all respect to Slick is a super nice guy, but I don't think we was compatible. I didn't like being a babyface. I just really didn't enjoy it at all. But I did the best that I could do with it. But I just love being a heel.
What is it about being a heel that you love so much?
Well, it's so much easier for a guy like me, because the only thing I do is stomp and punch and kick, bite, and stuff like that. And, when you're a baby face, it don't get over as well.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you did make a quick run in World Championship Wrestling, WCW. A lot of people tell horror stories about their time there. Did you have a terrible time there?
Yes, I was only there for 3 months.
Right.
And it was the worst experience I've ever had, my whole wrestling career. And I stayed there for about 3 months, and I walked out.
What was so bad about it?
Well, the pay was bad, and they wouldn't give me a contract. Eric Bischoff, he never even spoke to me the whole time I was there, and it didn't matter about that. Just pay me. And he didn't do that. He wouldn't even give me a contract. And I like to starve to death there. So I left, and I left in 1995. And I didn't even want to talk to wrestlers or have nothing to do with wrestlers no more. And I didn't until 2001, I think, or 2002. The gimmick Battle Royal in Texas. It might have been 2001.
Yeah, I think it was 2001.
Yeah, but it just really put another bad taste in my mouth.
Well, what did you think of the? They were doing a gimmick at the time called the Dungeon of Doom, and a lot of people look at that as like one of the most cartoonish bad guy factions of all time. Did you think it was as cheesy as some people said it was?
Do I think it was
cheesy? Like I don't know, cheap?
Well, I really didn't give it a thought. It didn't mean nothing to me. I was just doing it because it was part of the business and part of what they wanted us to do. I had no interest in it at all. Okay.
You can go ahead now, Chris.
Okay, well, I was going to ask, how did you enjoy doing that gimmick Battle Royal and being backstage at a WrestleMania?
It was all right. They had asked me about doing another one of their pay-per-views a couple of years before that, and I wouldn't do them. I wouldn't do it. I didn't want to have nothing to do with wrestling. And finally, they called me up in 2001, and I told them that I would call them back and give them an answer. And I just made up my mind to go there. When I got there, it was all right when I got there, but I couldn't wait to get back home. Wrestling just had that bad of a taste in my mouth.
Do you still have that kind of bad taste in your mouth?
No, not really.
What changed your mind about it?
Well, after the gimmick Battle Royal, and then I got so many phone calls from independent promoters, just trying to get me to come back and do some of their shows. So I decided to do it, and here I am. I've been doing it since 2001.
So when you do come out on an indie show, do you do the heel routine, or do the fans kind of appreciate you more because they're familiar with you?
Yeah, they kind of appreciate me more, and I'm kind of getting to adjust to being a babyface now, because when I come out, I get all kind of cheers, and a lot of cheering comes up to me and shakes my hand and wants an autograph, so I kind of like it.
When you made that one appearance on Raw as part of the Divas search, but I got to ask you this question because I was wondering it myself, and maybe you would have an answer to this. Do you think any of those girls actually knew who you were?
No. I really don't.
I mean, because it seemed to me like a lot of them were thrown off by it, and I'm like, come on. I mean, if you ever watch wrestling, you should know who this guy is.
Yeah. It didn't. It really didn't seem like it.
No.
Yeah. It really didn't seem like it.
Well, you have a CD out. What kind of music would you describe it as?
It's a mixture. I would say it's rock, and I have a lot of country songs, and it's home done. It's not distributed or nothing like that from a distributing company. I do it all right here at home, and I do all my recording and writing and everything right here at the house. And it's a little home studio and nothing big, but I do everything right here at the house.
And who does the musicianship with you?
I do it myself, and we got a couple of more guys.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive. Is there any chance you can maybe send us over a song that we could play at the end of the interview?
Yeah, we should sing you over one.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have ability to put it in MP3, or maybe I can get a CD or something like that? I'd love to play it because I'm actually very curious to hear it. Yeah,
I don't. I'm not too computer smart, so I don't know how to do that. But I wish I could. But anyway, have you ever heard it on my website?
I actually heard a little bit of it, and I enjoyed it very much. And from your website, can people buy it there?
Yeah, it have an address on there and everything. I have people from everywhere ordering. Yeah.
And just for everybody's references, what is the website address?
It's www.thegiantkamala.com.
Thegiantkamala.com.
Uh-huh.
Now, do you use any of your songs as your entrance music when you do independent wrestling shows?
No, I still use the same old Kamala music that I've been using for years. But I think that I'm going to change that in the future and start using some of my music that I wrote myself. I don't know for sure what songs yet, but I'm going to do it.
Okay, well, we had a chance to interview Jimmy Hart on Monday, and he praises your music very, very highly.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. Jimmy Hart, we kind of worked together just a little bit. We didn't spend a lot of time together, but we did a little video on with one of my songs, just a little mini video, and it was great. I enjoyed working with him.
And I've heard some praises from music critics as well. Do you think being Kamala or having been Kamala hold you back in the music with your music, or does it help you?
I can't say for sure right now because it's a little too early. I've just been doing it for a couple of years, and I get a lot of compliments, a lot of emails, and a lot of people's ordering and telling me how great my voice is, and that really makes me feel good.
Okay, well, my final question for you is, do you have any hopes of being in the WWE Hall of Fame anytime soon?
I really hadn't thought of it. I really don't know the purpose of the Hall of Fame, and it don't interest me at all. But I think it would be good if I were in it, but it don't interest me at all.
How do you want to be remembered by wrestling fans?
I want to be remembered as a great heel, a guy that and a nice guy, a super nice guy, a guy that's easy to work with, and a guy that really took care of his gimmick back when the kayfabing was enforced.
Right.
And just overall being and have more than one talent for like writing songs, singing, and just overall being a nice guy. That's the way I want to be remembered.
What do you think of the lack of a kayfabe era that we have today? Do you think that the internet being so open that all the fans really know exactly what's going on, both in front of the camera and backstage, is a good thing?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good thing. I really don't think it's a good thing. That's the reason the house shows is so down now. The only time they draw money is at the pay-per-views and things like that. So we used to go to house shows like on Monday night where they didn't have television cameras and sell out places, 10, 10, 15,000 people like that. But I think that's all gone now.
Yeah. You think that the internet is to blame for that, though?
Excuse me?
Do you think that the internet is solely to blame for that?
I would say partially the internet and a lot of the promoters.
Speaking of promoters, what do you think of one of the other promotions? I'm not even sure if you've seen it, but what do you think of Total Nonstop Action Wrestling?
Total Nonstop, that's TNA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, TNA. I really don't watch wrestling, and I don't know a lot about it. So, I'm not up to date on it.
Well, do you mind if we just give you a couple word associations? If you have a one-word answer for the name, that's fine. If you want to tell a story, that's great, too.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Sure. The first name on the list is Hulk Hogan.
Okay, so now what's the question now?
Basically, just your thoughts when you hear Hulk Hogan. If it's a story, that's fine. If you just have a one-word answer, that's fine, too.
Yeah, I don't have a story, but Hulk Hogan, I can say that he was, to me, the greatest champion during my time. The greatest champion, and he always have been a super nice guy. I've wrestled him many times all over the world, and I think he's a great guy to work with. He have a great attitude, and it made me feel comfortable working with him, because a lot of champions, they stuck up and they hard to work with. Hogan, I could do anything with him. He was so easy to work with. And I'm not saying it just because he was a champion, just because he was a nice guy.
How about Jerry the King Lawler?
Jerry the King Lawler, I've had a lot of great matches with him, and I still do. And he was super.
How about somebody that I personally love talking to because he was just such a nice gentleman, Coco Beware?
Yeah, Coco, yeah, that's my neighbor. He right here next door to me.
Is he really?
I mean, not next door. I mean, he right here in Memphis. I'm about 30 miles from his house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Coco and we go way back, and he's a super guy, too.
How about Eric Bischoff?
I can't say what I think he is, on the air. But,
I guess that's
nothing nice.
Yeah, you can leave it at that. Yeah. How about Dr. Harvey Whippleman?
Oh yeah, he's my neighbor. Yeah, he's right here in Mississippi, so he was nice. I enjoyed being around him. We traveled a lot of miles together, and we kind of stay in touch.
And the last name I have for you is Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon, he's a great promoter, a good promoter. He knows how to make money, but I don't think he think about the guys that help him put butts in the seat. It's when I speak for myself, I mean he talks to you nice. He have a good attitude and stuff like that. So I can't say I dislike the man. I just dislike his pays.
Well, we can't thank you enough for your time. One last plug for your website and your music.
www.thegiantkamala.com. And I have some clips of some new songs on there. And one of the songs on the homepage is I wrote it about Tookie. I wrote it on the 13th of December. Tookie is the one that they...
Tookie Williams, yes.
Yeah, Tookie Williams. Yeah.
Well, where did you stand on that issue?
I don't believe in the death penalty. Yeah, I don't believe in the death penalty. Not man killing man. I don't believe in that. And it makes no difference if it's Tookie Williams or who. If he did it, then he is wrong and he have to pay. But I don't think man should kill man.
So what would you have done with him? Just left him in jail for the rest of his life?
Yeah, left him in jail, and from I'm not too up to date on what he was doing, but they say that he did a lot to help people, the gangs, and the police themselves. And I think he would have been a lot better. He would have done a lot better for people's living than he is dead.
That's possible.
He actually, in his later years, was speaking out against gangs.
Yeah.
Which was supposedly helping some young children that were growing up on the street, helping get away from there. Right. So, yeah, I kind of walked the line on that issue. I quite honestly never put that much thought into it. But what's the song about? Is it all about that he shouldn't have been executed?
Yeah. It's about that. Like I say, do you think what he did trying to help others was worth living? And I think it was worth him living. And if he did, they still had no DNA or nothing, like no solid proof that he killed those people. And you know, to be honest, he might have did. I don't know, and they don't know.
Right.
You know, so but still, my Bible tell me thou shalt not kill, and that's for everybody. That's for Tookie and anybody else.
Well, once again, we can't thank you enough for your time, and we wish you the best of luck in the future.
Okay, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
I had a fun time, too. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, have a nice night.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
This is Kevin Sullivan, and you're listening to Interactive Wrestling Radio. And if you don't listen to it, I'm going to come down and knock down your door and turn it on for you.
We're back on the Blaze 1260 AM. That was the Ugandan Giant, Kamala, and I got to tell you, I feel like a music producer right now because we're going to play the first song that this has ever played on the radio. This is the first time this guy's ever been heard on the radio musically. We're going to play a track of Kamala's music. Go ahead and hit it. Track 3.
Well, folks, let me tell you about my grandbaby. Hey, booty girl, I hadn't seen in months. The one I call Booty Girl. Booty Girl. She's just 6 years old. And it's been almost a year since we've seen one another. Booty Girl. Hey, Booty Girl. Now, that's a long time for a 6-year-old. Now, I ain't gonna take up a lot of your time. So here's my story. Booty girl. I was sitting in a Walmart parking lot. When up popped my grandbaby Booty girl. You know she talks a lot. Booty girl. She said, hey, Paw, I hadn't seen you in months. I've been looking for you and I was still on the hunt. Hey, booty girl. She said, hey, Paw, I live over there. I said, you do? Well, come show me where. Booty girl. Hey, booty girl. And then she said, whoops, I wasn't supposed to tell. I said, that's okay, grandbaby, I understand. Just whenever you get a chance, just give me a landline on South Central Bell. And she said that she would do that, booty girl, the very first chance she gets. Hey, booty girl. So she laid there in my lap, stroking me up and down my arms. I hadn't seen you in months. And she would look up at me and she would say these words. Hey, Paw, I hadn't seen you in months.
Hey, this is Captain Charisma Christian Cage here from TNA. And I want all my peeps, all the Christian Coalition, to know they're listening to the Blaze 1260 AM.
Do I have permission to rant again?
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. The WWE has a couple premier matches, a couple matches that are their own. We discussed this a little bit earlier. They're the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. They do the Royal Rumble once per year, and they do the... Sorry. He's headbanging.
I'm getting into this. It's like, man, this is kind of rocking stuff, but continue.
Yes, and the Elimination Chamber, which they only break out if once a year, maybe once every other year. They don't overdo it. TNA has a match all their own. It's called the Ultimate X. It kind of goes in line with the entire company. It's the X Division company. And it's an X. You take 2 straps, you hang them across the ring, way the hell in the sky, and you grab the belt in the middle. So it's a great concept, but they do it every other month. And if you compare it, the Elimination Chamber debuted in the WWE in November of 2002. There's been, what, 4 Elimination Chamber matches?
That is correct, 4.
And if you take TNA's Ultimate X matches and combine them. I think they're somewhere in the vicinity of 10 to 12.
Yeah, they may need to kind of cut back on that just a little bit. Now that they actually have TV time, make it a bit more special. God forbid even think of another gimmick match that is just as entertaining as the Ultimate X.
The only good thing that could come out of this match is they could find a way to get the belt off of Samoa Joe without him actually getting pinned or submitting. Somebody else could grab the belt, and that'll be the end of it. Which is a good thing, because if they're going to break him off at the heavyweight division, which some people say they are, I think that'd be a good way to do it.
We've got another caller on the line. Mike, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Mike, how's it going?
Doing good.
Mike, where are you located?
California.
All right. Good.
He knows how to party. Sorry. Wow. Random rap song. Flashback.
Bad.
What's on your
Never
mind?
do that again. Sorry,
About TNA. What were we talking about again?
We're talking about the Ultimate X again with the same guys again.
Well, this is kind of interesting because the Ultimate X, where you're supposed to climb up a rope and pick up the X, or the belt, should I say, right?
Right. This time it's the belt. It used to be the X. Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting because Samoa Joe is pretty heavy.
Right.
So I don't know if maybe he'll like try to hang on, but then he'll bring the wire down and all he has to do is just walk to get the belt. I don't know.
That's a good idea, actually, but I'm thinking I think of the end of No Holds Barred, the movie, where if he fell to the mat off that thing, the ring would just collapse.
They did kind of screw up over that other Ultimate X with Pete Williams, Chris Sabin, and Matt Bentley.
Which proved that all three of those guys don't know what they're doing. Sorry if you're listening, guys, but if something goes wrong, you don't tell the fans something's going wrong. You don't act angry. No.
That's the rule in entertainment.
You act like it's supposed to have happened. And Petey Williams, who's a heel and won the match in a cheap fashion, acted angry that he won the match. No, Petey, you won the match. Celebrate. By any means necessary, celebrate.
Whatever you want to do. That's the rule in entertainment, or anything dealing with a group of people. If you screw up, you just go with the flow.
Now, let me ask you, Mike. We got one other big TNA story this week. Roderick Strong and Austin Aries have been suspended from TNA. Did you hear about this one?
Yeah, I am kind of disappointed because I thought Austin Aries is a fantastic wrestler ever since I saw him took on Christopher Daniels at Sacrifice.
Absolutely, and his backbreakers are some of the sickest moves that you will ever see in your life. That guy can pull a backbreaker out of anywhere. It's his version of the Diamond Cutter, essentially. He can do a backbreaker from any position and any circumstance.
Exactly.
And I think this guy really has potential, but they made the decision to work a Ring of Honor show, which is not on TV, which is not televised, it is not going to advance their careers in any way, shape, or form. They decided to go work that show instead of the TNA pay-per-view. And guess what, guys? I gotta tell you what. If I was TNA, they wouldn't just be suspended, they would be fired.
But wait, TNA pay-per-view? They did compete against all odds.
They did something. When did they show up for then?
I think they missed Impact, I think.
Was it the Impact? That doesn't make any sense.
Or house show. I don't know.
I don't know if they run house shows.
I know they were on Against All Odds.
Nevertheless, compare the magnitude. I have a lot of respect for what Ring of Honor is trying to do.
I do as well.
But
and
compare the magnitude of the companies.
My problem with Ring of Honor is not the wrestling. If you just sit down and watch the show for what it is, it's a fantastic product. I could not compliment the workers there too much, or enough, I should say. And quite frankly, I'm blown away by what those guys can do. The problem I have with it is, first of all, every match can't be the main event. That's something they have to realize. And second of all, the fans are what make that product less enjoyable for me, because they're like wrestling's version of Trekkies. They're like the pretentious Euro rockers who think that they're the best thing going, just because they have an opera singer as a singer in a band. That doesn't make you special. That doesn't make you better. It's a good product. If you just let it be what it is, I'd enjoy it a lot more than having it be the be-all, end-all of the wrestling business.
But speaking of underground wrestling, like Ring of Honor, what I mean by underground, I mean like unpopular, not very popular wrestling companies. Okay, I don't know if I told you guys this already, but okay, right now I'm going to college like around next year. I'm going to graduate as fast as I can, do what I can, and then I'm going to head over to Los Angeles to this wrestling company called PWG.
Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Yeah. I know it's going to take a long time. I don't care. My dream in life ever since 2000 is to become a wrestler, and I know there's a lot of TNA stars that actually go there.
Absolutely. I think Kazarian is one of them.
Yeah, even...
Chris Daniels, right?
Yeah.
Styles and Samoa Joe.
AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, absolutely. That's a great product, and if you go over to NoDQ.com, they usually have some videos up from that promotion as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's a great product, and I mean that's another great indie promotion. But I like that promotion because there's no arrogant fans that tell you that this is better than anything else out there. There's no Trekkies there.
Yeah.
Now, I just remembered, right off the top of my head, one other big piece of TNA news, a little bit of insider news on this one. So if you don't care to hear inside news, I don't know why you're listening. But in this case, big stuff is that right now, a lot of people ask, when Christian Cage, since we used his theme music from back when, wins the NWA title, everyone asks, okay, how long does he lose it to Jeff Jarrett? How long until he loses it back? Because that seems like the theme. Insiders will tell you that right now that's not the theme.
Right. Ooh. They're actually saying that they're going to keep the belt off of Jarrett for quite some time and put him in the, what I call the 1A spot, where Triple H belongs now and where he should be with Edge as world champion, as the secondary but still over heel of the company.
I want that guy to not have the title for at least 2 years.
2 years, better make it 3 years. Triple H should be barred. Both Triple H and Jarrett should be barred from ever having the title for at least, I'd say, minimum 3 years.
But the worst part is Jeff Jarrett. Okay, 2004, he won the title against Ron the Truth Killing. He had that title for almost a year until he lost it to AJ Styles, which AJ Styles only held on to for a month, or not even.
Right, and then Jarrett got it back again, the King of the Mountain match.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's held it pretty much since then. He lost it to Rhino, and Rhino held it for a week.
Then, 2 weeks, basically.
Yeah, 2 weeks, and then he got it, their first primetime show on Spike TV.
And here's what confuses, the heck out of me, okay? Because, when Jeff Jarrett's the champion, Ray, well, I know this is just storyline, and I know he owns the company and stuff, but it just doesn't make sense because, when Raven, loses the title, he says he has to, start from the bottom and, get the title again. But then when Jeff Jarrett lost to Rhino, he gets a shot for it next week, in 2 weeks.
He's the boss, just like Triple H. I mean,
well,
he's got the power in the backstage, but for Jarrett, there's probably a better reason why he'll never get the title again. But with Triple H, my complaint is you've got so much talent in WWE, yet you just don't use it, and you keep on giving the same thing over and over again. And every time a casual fan, a roommate of mine or when I check in, it's like, okay, he still has a title, not much has changed. Why should I keep watching when I can just remember back when, The Rock or Stone Cold was wrestling Triple H and they lose the title. It just has a cycle thing. It just isn't entertaining anymore. So,
and if TNA is planning to go up against WWE, TNA is planning to go up against WWE. Jeff Jarrett is not the thing for them to, go up against. It's just ridiculous. And my dream match is for TNA versus WWE is Triple H versus Jeff Jarrett because I got to see that match.
Right.
But,
well, it depends who's wrestling at what company.
Yeah.
Whoever company it is winning the match.
Yeah, exactly. They have to probably do a Ring of Honor and just do a neutral decision due to coin toss and who's going to actually job.
No, those guys weigh more than 115 pounds, so they wouldn't be wrestling for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it's true. Ooh,
sorry.
Little job there, but that's okay. But still, one day, both of them just going to have to kind of back off and go. But, hey, Mike, still there? Thanks for calling, man. We're going to take a break right now, but feel free to call anytime next week or check out the forums at www.wrestlingepicenter.com.
Right. We have hot news coming in, so you're going to want to stay tuned to the Blaze 1260 AM as we're going to reveal some releases and some injury reports from the WWE.
This is Ron Simmons, and you're listening to the Blaze 1260 AM.
Why did this all of a sudden become Linda McMahon's theme song? Just a quick question. Finding it without the words was impressive to me, but then it becomes Linda's theme song, and
yeah,
I'm sorry, that's just one of several thousand decisions that the company has made that I don't agree with.
Well, quite frankly, what should be her theme song?
Yeah, she's come out no music at all, just, I don't know, come out with some Joan Jett song, whatever you want to come out with.
I'm not allowed to say what her theme song should be.
Then let's make it that way, but still,
It's a Meredith Brooks song.
Oh, I see. Ooh, okay. She's not that bad, but still, it works for her, why not? I kind of get this, flashback of WrestleMania 3 anyways, and In Your House, but...
Which, in my opinion, is the most underrated WrestleMania of all time.
I thought it was the worst WrestleMania of all time, but then again, I am not as big a Hulk Hogan fan as you are.
Well, the main event is part of the reason why, but there was actually some other good matches in there.
Well, there were. I mean,
There were.
It was a
Kurt
wild-
Hennig against
Kurt Hennig.
Lex Luger was actually a really good match. Tatanka, which you're a big fan of, and Shawn Michaels, good match.
Another good match, yeah.
I love Tatanka. Thank you very much.
And hey, aren't you the one who wanted to buy the 3-pack set just because Brutus Beefcake wears the mask in the new figure?
Yes, but that's also for stupidity reasons.
He wore the mask.
That's for materialistic
that was
purposes.
directly from that.
Yes.
On to the news.
On to the news.
Big news. First piece of news. We didn't touch on it. We touched on it sort of. Didn't say much about it. Eddie Guerrero, and I remember discussing this with you beforehand, what I thought they should do if they're going to keep milking it. Well, I'm not going to say it so as not to lose most of the listening audience.
Go ahead.
Just basically, let's dig him up and use him as a puppet.
Ever seen Weekend at Bernie's?
Weekend at Bernie's.
Right.
That was basically my idea because Eddie Guerrero is going into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah.
From I guess, sort of a timely aspect for it, that's why they're doing it. They want to get it over with now. And just kind of, let's milk this, keep it going, because it's hot and fresh in people's minds. We got to do it because, in this society, if it didn't happen 30 seconds ago, we're going to forget about it.
Right. But that's kind of what they play off of in the wrestling business, though. Half the stuff that actually happens, they forget the next week.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
how many people remember that less than 6 months ago, Shawn Michaels was the biggest heel in the company?
I don't know. I think I was out of the country at the time.
Nobody remembers.
I do. We were just discussing it during Kamala's... Never mind, I'm not going back to Kamala. I'll start laughing.
Oh, come on. That was actually not that bad.
I think he had a good Isaac Hayes thing going right there. But still, that's my personal opinion. But yeah, I mean, he's going back in. We've nailed this so many times with this Eddie Guerrero thing. But you know what? Just let it go in, and hopefully after this, they'll just sort of let it go, and Eddie Guerrero will be kind of just go off in the sunset.
I need to get lyrics on that song.
Cowboys.
Is it Booty Girl?
I don't know.
Which song do you need the
I think
lyrics
it was
on?
Baby Girl, I think.
I'm not sure if you
But
say
still,
Baby
and
Girl
then-
or Booty Girl. Kamala.
Oh my God! Please no. I'm sure you can look it up, but that's not the point. Next bit of news.
Yes.
We've got a Hall of Fame inductee, and you know what that means? It's time to release some people, and these actually run together. If I'm correct, James, you may want to take this one. You and Brendan.
The tag team.
Romeo and Antonio, the heartthrobs. I'm crushed.
Yeah.
I'm crushed.
Your heart is broken. It's literally broken in half.
It's not throbbing anymore.
Nope. Heartthrobs have been released from WWE, and that's partially because of a rant they went on WWE.com's Bite This, which WWE.com insists has not been canceled, even though we all pretty much know that it has.
It's canceled in quotation marks.
It's on hiatus.
On hiatus, kind of like the Ross Report.
Well, the real reason it's been canceled is because every time they take live callers, the callers have been saying TNA is better than WWE.
And they can't do that because it's bad for the company.
Right.
I mean,
so they're like,
it's
okay,
terrible.
well, this is... And another thing is, Triple H went on a rant not long ago about the content at WWE.com not being beneficial towards the superstars. So, put two and two together.
How much more beneficial can they be to the superstars? I mean,
I know, but put two and two together. If they're mocking WWE over TNA, then yeah, they're going to want to get rid of that. And they did. And quite frankly, I don't miss it. It was on pretty much the same time that we are anyway, so it's just less competition.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Sorry.
Less competition for us, man.
Less competition, I'm sorry about this, but you bite.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much.
I used to call it This Bites.
I mean, this bites. I mean, pretty much, I get to take criticism because I'm a very, very... I have a very, very strong... Never mind. I don't want to go into it. Sorry.
Are you all right?
Well, now let me
I'm
ask you
better
guys.
now. Sorry.
Before Brendan starts crying.
Yeah.
There's nothing sadder than Brendan crying. Trust me, people. Let me ask you guys. Next set of releases.
Okay, let me take this one, okay?
There's going to be a big set of them.
Let me take it, please. Let me take it. All right, a tag team known as... Their names are the Dicks. They've been fired from the company, but my idea is since they're released, and their namesake, shouldn't they be called Circumcised?
Or castrated, I think, would be more appropriate because circumcision was more...
Castrated would be better because that means circumcised just...
It's part of the whole.
I'm not going into this.
We don't have to talk about this.
We don't have to talk about this because opponents are endless on this. We could spend the next 10 minutes
After the
discussing
porno interview from last week, we don't need this.
We're running out of fine line from here.
Yeah.
Who's in the next group of people? And actually, let me...
Sylvain
on that
Grenier.
note, James, you have a belief that Victoria is going to be in that group.
Victoria is not even in their video games.
Well,
she's not in their photo shoots, and she's not in their video games.
She is making an appearance, though. Here's something a lot of people don't know.
What?
This weekend, actually Friday night at R.T. O'Sullivan's in Tempe, Arizona.
Sweet.
There will be a SmackDown viewing party, but Saturday and Sunday is the real thing. In Phoenix, Arizona, from I believe it's 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., WWE Road to WrestleMania fan access.
Really?
Off of
Whoa.
Tatum Boulevard and the Loop 101.
You know what?
Yes, I broke with this story. My parents broke with this story. Gotta love them.
Oh, I'm going.
And
We're going to be there.
Victoria will be appearing.
We're getting an interview then.
Will be appearing
No,
there.
I'm not kidding.
And,
Last year, Road to WrestleMania, I was at the Road to WrestleMania. I got to interview Ron Simmons, Hillbilly Jim, and Candice Michelle.
Well, we're going to go there then. We're going to interview. But still, that's awesome.
There, so big stuff there. Let me
Always
ask
good
you,
to always
will
good to
getting an
dump this
interview
on
with
the
Victoria
on the
be
air.
beneficial?
Yeah, because
I mean,
she's going to get fired.
She might have something interesting to say, or just
I can ask her why they did that thing to her theme song that killed it, even though I hated it to begin with.
It might have not even been her decision. Could have been a Jim Johnson decision.
I hate that theme song so much.
But you saw.
What is that? I hate that theme song.
Well, guys.
No, we're not.
We're not going to tell you because
We've got more on the agenda.
We do have more.
I have more for you.
See, because Ben's the referee, and I can't really say anything until Ben's like.
I'm not giving you that point.
The point yet.
Remember a couple years ago? Remember a couple years ago when?
I'm not ready.
That was Teal. Kind of chimes her now.
I love Teal so much.
Ah,
In
too
a
bad
friendship
Francine's not on the line to talk to him. They have a good chemistry together.
Now let me ask you guys.
Yeah.
Other guys who could be released. Lance Cade seems like a lead pipe cinch to get released.
Absolutely.
Why have him on?
I
Kid
feel
Cash.
bad for him.
Kid Cash, probably.
I couldn't even believe that they signed him, to be honest with you. And I have a personal disdain for the man, but I give him credit for making it there because I never thought he would. But honestly, I don't think he's going to last long. And I got to add more to the list. Rob Conway, who was the Thing 6 months ago.
Buff Bagwell.
Gone.
Buff Bagwell's with the company?
Just look at me.
Oh.
He looked exactly like Buff Bagwell.
Dude, that was Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, that's what he sounded like.
Just look at me, and I start to see.
I love that. That's great.
Another name on the list.
Okay. OJ used to be.
There's hundreds. Here's a guy who I can't believe hasn't been cut.
Who's that?
Tyson, I can kick you in the face and apparently it will hurt because Tess did it once, and he's gone too. Tomko.
Yep. The only thing he's got going for him is a good look. That's it.
Maybe, and possibly just jobber material, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Or dark match material, as they call it. You go jobber, then dark match, and then maybe you might get a couple matches on SmackDown, but still.
He's not going to last very long. I think another one that we're missing is Sylvain Grenier. I can't believe he's still got a job with the company, and I think you have to thank the Gemini for Simon Dean still having a job.
True, but what keeps these guys on there? Like, they're not doing too much, but what actually keeps them on there if they're going to do nothing? I mean...
Well, let's see. They're good bodies.
They're good bodies to throw
and they're
around.
Good workers. A guy like Snitsky, for having his problems, is a good worker, and
What's
he'll
his
stay
problems?
On. What was that?
What are his problems?
He shows a lot of signs of a guy who took roids.
Ah.
Although there are some other guys, Triple H, who also show the same signs. And guys, I got to tell you, 1.5 minutes. That's your 1.5 minute warning.
Thank you. I love it.
It's like a little timer's going on my head right now.
All right, well, one injury report to report to you, if I could say report one more time, is last night or 2 nights ago during Raw, the one and only Ashley Massaro suffered a broken leg, a broken fibula, as a matter of fact, which is actually reminiscent of the injury suffered by Sid just 5 years ago at WCW Sin, where Sid broke his fibula, and Dracula, and any other.
That's the most disgusting injury I've ever seen.
You know, that injury was so popular. I was catching. My dad sent me a video email one time on that.
Yeah.
He was like, "This is the sickest thing I've ever seen." And it was like 3 or 4 years later. I'm like, "That's Sid Vicious break this."
That's like Theismann.
That's like Theismann. That would be kind of like in one of those blooper videos of a sports show.
Yeah.
In any sports show.
Clip. That's just
disturbing. The timer is almost over.
Take us home, Brendan.
And I will take you home. Thank you guys for listening to Wrestling Epicenter on the Blaze 1260. For Ben Benya, James Walsh, this is Brendan Brooks saying sayonara. Teal's up next, followed by the Peanut Gallery from 10:45 to midnight. This is the Wrestling Epicenter on the Blaze 1260 AM.
Hey, it's Tony Schiavone, and you're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter. And I would stick around, but I'm desperately out of time.